everybody. You're in for a treat. This is going to be a multi-message. I'm going to share some of my real life experiences. I'm going to be talking about Archangel Lucifer, the dark and light sides. I'm going to be talking about Archangel Michael. I'm going to be talking about another angelic experience I had. I'm going to try to talk about all these things. I've asked my guides for help keeping up with all the latest events that I could remember them and then articulate the experiences and then maybe even try to make more sense of what it's saying to all of us. Okay, I'm going to start though, because I have 2 comments that I wanted to read and do some journeys on. So this is going to be a multi-message, okay? And it's going to be a lot of fun. So the first comment, and I'm going to journey into this, and I want to thank you, Jessica's Mystic Medicine. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for this comment, and then the opportunity to explore something that I'd never heard of before. And this is about Archangel Lucifer. Okay, so I'm going to read this. This was on a Joe and Abbey video. You had said, "Hello, beautiful souls. I love you, Abbey and Joseph. I had a question for both of you. Would you, if you feel called, journey into the 8th sphere, so the number 8, the 8th sphere, and tell us what this place is and looks like to you, and why Lucifer is trapped there? So curious." All right, so I've never heard of the 8th sphere. I'm going to chill and we're going to journey there and we're going to see what we can find out about it, okay? We're starting here, okay? All right, here we go. All right, well, I'll tell you, for starters, it's a pretty stinky place. And the outer rim of it is not very solid. I can go through it pretty easily. And it's kind of sand-like. And it's almost like a planetary body. But while it looks quite large, once I go through it, it seems quite small, to be honest. And the color of it is a really dark hunter green. And so when I go through what is like sand material and there's not much of it, I go through it pretty easily. And it's a dark hunter green sand. I'm in a much smaller place than it appears on the outside. Yeah, it doesn't smell very good in here. Another aspect to it is there's a lot of illusion, there's a lot of mirrors, okay? So when I go in here, the first thing that I notice is that what is presented to me isn't necessarily what it seems. I can tell that the sound, it's not about what I see, it's about how it translates harmoniously. So when things are not harmonious, they're full of illusion and manipulation. So I'm listening to the sound of the harmony, and I can tell that there's a lot of different what can only be described as mirrors. So there's projected illusions everywhere. So I've got to find out what is this place truly. Yeah, okay, I understand. Just a moment. I'm gonna take my time for a little bit. Some of the scene is changing. The smell is going away. It looks dry now on the inside. It looks like an actual kind of octagon-shaped room. There's very tall doors in here. On each one of the sides, there's very tall doors, and I'm not sure what this material is. It's kind of like stone. And there seems to be a hidden door in the center that you would never see unless you took the time. But I'm going to just wait, because when things happen very quickly, you need to take your time. And this is a message for everybody. And so when things happen really quickly, you need to slow down and take your time, because you could get carried away in a wave. But if you just stand your ground in that wave, you get to decide where you want to go with your life. Don't let the wave just take you wherever the wave wants to take you. You need to stand your ground and decide where you want to go in life. That's what the message is. I feel that. I feel like Archangel Lucifer is not a threatening emanation in here. He's actually a solid persona. I feel like there's a lot of souls that have lost their way in here. A lot of souls having a hard time finding their way out. And I wonder how they even get here in the first place. And Archangel Lucifer is mentioning that it's easy to get caught up in a wave. And he really wants us to think about what a wave would represent, or what a wave would symbolize in day-to-day human life. So you can get carried away with an idea. You can get carried away with what you think, I don't know, is the best way to do it, but you're neglecting other new ideas. You're neglecting yourself. So you could kind of go with the flow, but sometimes the flow will carry you away from yourself, and you need to get back to who you are again. The only way to find out who you are is to stop everything that you're doing. Just put your feet down and stop the motion and find yourself again. And so what I do is I take his advice and I become an emanation of the advice, and I send the sound of the advice through all the doors, even the door in the center. I become a messenger for all the souls that got lost in here. I'm going to tell you a side note because this place is familiar to me. You know, I just did a journey on myself. This was just a couple days ago. I was going through a really tough time emotionally. And I needed to explore where the emotions were coming from, and I saw myself kind of like a strange skin kind of grew over my eyes, and I was kind of like a small shriveled up like person with a cane, and I was trying really hard to get through this door. And no matter how hard I tried, the door just bounced me back. It didn't like have a handle on it. It was made out of like a substance, okay? And it was in a room that was octagon shaped and very familiar to this because I have very tall doors as well. And I found myself having to sit down, and in all my determination, in all my passion, in all of my insistence that that was my path, it's like it wasn't. I was so focused on what I thought was my path that I was not really just taking the time to, I guess, find myself, and myself is my path. The idea was my path. And it was Archangel Lucifer that was standing here too. And I feel like Archangel Lucifer is a pretty powerful emanation right now. So what I find that Archangel Lucifer represents is, I've always called him, at least in the last few years, I feel the best definition is the Archangel of Ego. And recently, Joe and I were talking about ego. And what's interesting is another word for ego is fear. Wouldn't you say that another word for ego could be fear? As somebody, you would say, who is egotistical, is the center of attention, is the center of everything, is obsessed with himself. But what would their fear be? What would inspire a person to behave like that, and what would their fear be? And so could Archangel Lucifer then be named the Archangel of Fear? And would it be wise to fear the Archangel of Fear? Or would it be wise to face the Archangel of Fear fearlessly? But the thing I love about Archangel Lucifer is you can't conceive of what you are afraid of. You can't conceive of the illusions that you've created. You can't conceive of how your ego is self-imprisoning you. Like, it's a survival tool. Like, ego is a survival tool. And it can be used to, I find that ego can be used to a benefit. I use my ego, for instance, I'm very competitive. So you could say that my ego pushes me to be the best because I like having pride in myself. Is that a healthy ego? Is that an unhealthy ego? I mean, you can decide. But maybe my fear is in coming up second place. I don't want to come up second place. I that's not me. I'm number one, man. So you could say I got this ego thing. But I mean, it's just for everybody. It's kind of fun to think about it. Anyway, so I just felt inspired to say that. I'm gonna get cozy, and we're going to keep moving forward. So what is this eighth sphere? Does it happen to be this space? And Is Archangel Lucifer trapped in here, or is this like a tool? Is this a dimensional space where souls are attracted to going and getting lost in here for their own growth and development? I don't know. All right, let's see. So Archangel Lucifer is responding to that idea that they would be attracted to going here and that they would get lost here. And that would Archangel Lucifer be sort of the keeper of this space, or would Archangel Lucifer be imprisoned in this space? And he's very serious about this idea, because if he is the energy that magnetically attracts souls to this space, if then he is the keeper of the space of the lost souls, then he himself then would be lost. I mean, it's kind of like a logical deduction. And he's serious when he says this. And I say, but when I face you, Archangel Lucifer, when I can acknowledge that I don't know everything, I can't conceivably know everything, and I'm okay with that. And if I could stand here and welcome you to reveal something that I need revealed, then maybe I'm coming here to figure that out. Maybe me standing against the tide is me facing the archangel of fears, facing something of a fear inside myself in order for me to be set free from the 8th sphere. Isn't that mean infinity? And maybe I'm stuck in a loop. Maybe this represents how we can get stuck in a loop and we get kind of trapped in those loops. He says it's important that I become one with the center door. So in the scene, the octagon-shaped space, very tall, okay? It's like a tunnel that sits sort of on the ground, and then you could look up and be like, wow, this is a really tall place with really tall doors. And then there's a door in the center, and everything's kind of like a white stone. And I basically merge my energy with the stone in the center. That is the door, okay? The stone door. Oh, this makes me nervous. Makes me want to vomit. It's full of shame. Because there is this idea of, you know, okay, this is what this is about. It is the idea that there is somebody who is going to be better than someone else. And to adopt the idea that I don't want to be that someone else. I want to be the best person. So to adopt that idea creates then division. And I was having this conversation in one of the many attempts to make this video about the spirit realm. And in the spirit realm, people don't realize that there's nobody above or beneath you. It doesn't matter how desecrated that soul is, how lost that soul is, how manipulative that soul is, how beautiful, benevolent, what a master soul this is, because we all express meaning. And if you're too good to find out what the meaning of that soul is expressing, then you have lost yourself. And so don't put yourself above Archangel Lucifer or beneath Archangel Lucifer, but look him straight in the eye, right? And so this door shows me something from my childhood, something from this innocent translation of the world that I live in. And I decided that in my ego and my survival, that I better be the best. And that was what I had adopted. And that's just sort of what creates my path, right? Does that make me a bad person or a weak person, or just what I had decided was best for myself? This is important because we're living in times where we are judging one another. And I'm going to pause there because I really want to hear it from Archangel Lucifer's voice on this to make sure I get it right, okay? Because it is about the 8th sphere. And it is about this space and how we are attracted to this space. And how do we become set free from this space? And then what does it mean for Archangel Lucifer, whose energy emanates from the space, guides people to it? Because something of himself is trying to be set free as well, is also stuck in a loop right along with us. Okay, interestingly enough, Archangel Michael is starting to appear here. And he wants to remind us that there's always help. For each and every single one of us, there is always, 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 always help. Do not feel that you are ever rejected from help. I get this idea about what is true help, Archangel Michael. Like, oh man, it would really help me out if I could just win the lottery. Oh man, it would really help me out if I, could just meet my soulmate. I wouldn't have to be lonely anymore. These are genuine things that would help people, right? And sometimes the thing that we feel would help us is the one thing that we can't seem to acquire. And we have to endure these difficult paths, and we feel even desecrated by them, like eaten alive by them. And so what help? Like, I would really like to understand what you feel that help is. And I just want to see what he says. He smiles and he says that let's take out the request. Beneath the surface of the words that create the request is the sound of the way a person feels, and it's like the heartbeat of their emotions. He's so freaking gentle and kind. And again, you try this, okay? You guys also try this. Think of something that would really help you out. It doesn't, you could label it whatever you want. Oh, that's superficial, or that actually is, makes more sense. Like, we judge our own requests for help, man. You guys know what I'm talking about. We judge ourselves and our requests for help. We need to stop doing that. Okay, so just create a request for help. And now if you take the words out of it and just listen to the sound of the heartbeat of your emotions, just listen to it and be present with it. And my God, what does it sound like to you? What does it sound like? Could you translate it into another statement even? Maybe a statement of the sound of your emotions is, I'm tired of struggling financially, or I'm tired of being the only person in my own life that really gets me. It's like I need help working through the pain of what this feels like. And then it's not just identifying it. It's not just saying I need help. It's actually allowing the help to be present in there with you. So let's say you're asking Archangel Michael for help. Now you would actually ask Archangel Michael. It's like, okay, Archangel Michael, this is the sound. This is the feeling. This is what it sounds like. And now I'm going to allow myself to experience the sound of Archangel Michael. This sort of meaningful, loving man is now present in the sound of my emotions, my difficulty. And I see, I feel this in the human, and then I see Archangel Lucifer standing here, and he's crying because he can feel alone too. This is true. This is true. You could say whatever you want about that, but that's true. And if you listen to the sound of his need for help, it is beneath the sound of the words, Archangel Lucifer needs help too. If you could hear the sound of what's beneath the surface, and then you place, let's say, some help in there. Let's say we place Archangel Michael in there for Archangel Lucifer, a brother, family, friendship, kindness, love, non-judgmental, unconditional. And then through Archangel Lucifer, through the healing of Archangel Lucifer, do you understand this? We all are set free. Do you understand this? Because the logical process of thinking of the eighth sphere energetically, like a magnet, attracts us for different reasons. All of the human race, we all struggle with ego one way or another. If Archangel Lucifer is the archangel of ego or the archangel of fear, we get locked in these cycles that are avoiding facing fears we didn't even want to acknowledge that we had, okay? We couldn't even conceive of it. It's okay. We're awakening each and every day to understanding ourselves more clearly and each other, okay? That's what human evolution is. And so when we help to heal the pain in Archangel Lucifer, we heal the pain in each other. And that's true. That is true. It's just like any energy healer will tell you, when I heal a client, I heal myself. And so when I'm doing this video here and I'm reaching you guys and you're giving this stuff a try, you're not only healing yourself, you're healing me. You're healing Archangel Lucifer, you're healing Michael, Archangel Michael, you're healing our earth, you're healing the whole universe. I mean, you're cosmically healing everything, which is so interesting because this is kind of related here. I mean, it's exactly related. And I'm going to read this next comment, okay? Let me see. Where are you? Oh, come on now. All right, this was in my Open Your Third Eye and Psychic Senses Today video. And this is... I took a photo of it and it's blurry, but it's JTSY. It's you. Okay, I want to thank you so much for making this comment. It's awesome. It's simply awesome, and it's like perfect. So it's basically this. There is a universe inside me. I can see it. Why is it there? Question mark. It's like, go you, for one, for actually seeing that, acknowledging it in a comment, and then asking the question, why is it there? We could say, well, of course it's there. You're part of the universe, but there is some deep reason, okay? There's a deep reason why that was presented to you, why you were meant to see that specifically versus anything else that you could have seen. And then the fact that you asked the question, it's a very basic question, but it's an important one, okay? It's a very important question. Okay, so now that we've got this comment here, I just want to pause for a moment. I feel like it's the next step of this message. Okay. Yes, okay, so I'm gonna go into this for you, okay? There's a universe inside me, and why is it there? Right now, it's actually a very peaceful experience. I'm actually kind of skipping, I'm like taking a step from where we've been and what we are learning. I'm actually going into your exact words of your exact comment and into your energy here. And we are going to explore it in its own way. And we're going to make sense of it. And we're going to loop our way back to where we were, okay? You know what I love about the energy is it's so peaceful. I even see water, and then I see kind of like, I look into the water, I see the reflection of the sky. It's almost like becoming a puddle on a sidewalk, and somebody is walking at night, and it just happened to have rained, filled in this little hole in the sidewalk filled with water, and then someone steps into the puddle and the reflection of the universe. And the question is, if someone steps in the puddle, the reflection of the universe, and it's kind of a funny statement, does that mean that they stepped into the universe itself? It's almost like, how real is the reflection, and how do we see the truth? How do we see the truth? This is even more introspective than that, okay? Because I'm pulled into the puddle. I'm pulled into the reflection. I'm pulled into an interesting idea where we witness the foot go into the puddle, but nothing changed in the sky. It just changed in the reflection. And the reflection finds a way to settle itself down and become just peaceful and the reflection again. And from here, I start to hear a knock at the door. I just keep hearing a knock at the door. And then I hear from that knock at the door, it's like pulling me back to the puddle. There's the footstep into this puddle. It just keeps going back and forth. There's a knock at the door, then there's a footstep in the puddle. It's altering the reflection of the universe. Knock at the door, footstep, altering the reflection of the universe. Things settle. Now there's a knock at the door, and it just keeps going back and forth like this. There's another important message about the way that we perceive our reality. How do you perceive the universe? How do you know if you're just looking at a puddle? And I'm getting pulled back into the original scene. And we're standing again in the octagon space. And there is the meaning of Archangel Michael here, and the meaning of Archangel Lucifer, and the meaning of humanity, our growth and development. And I start to remember the conversation about how we are all together in this. There's something we learn from each other, and there's nobody above or beneath anybody else. And it comes back to the conversation I was having about the world today. How do we bring harmony and peace to the world today? How do we set ourselves free from these loops? You know, this reminds me of, I told you guys it's a big, long message, and it's been very difficult for me to make it, but we're going to keep trucking, okay? This is taking me to another memory. So, I had seen the dark side of Archangel Lucifer for the first time, and I was a bit thrown off by it. It was so crystal clear. And I couldn't believe how loud the sound of his energy was. I mean, it was so loud. I was having some very peculiar dreams as well. And then I would wake up from a dream and there was, people dancing around a fire with blood and symbols, drawn on their body. And me and this team we're in this like broken down hospital, and we were working our way to the top of the hospital, and there was some kind of looming thing coming up the elevator, and we had to keep solving these problems as we kept going up and up and up, and we had to do it faster than what was coming up the elevator. And then something gets cold in my heart. Bam, I wake up, and there's this dark side of Archangel Lucifer. And he's like this black hole full of bumblebees. And it was the loudest sound. And I started to realize why so many people would be very intimidated by that. I mean, it's impossibly overwhelming, even for me. And I started to stand my ground. I wasn't going to let that energy knock me on my butt. I just stood my ground and I said, you're in pain. You are the sound of the loudest screaming pain in our entire world. And there's nothing strong about you at all. You are the weakest link in our human race. And you are the emanation and the embodiment of our personal hell. And if I am afraid of you, if I am put on my butt by your sound, by your energy, then what do we do? I mean, how will we ever heal you? And I brought Mother Mary into it. And because Mother Mary loves all of her children, and Mother Mary is the embodiment of the mother of all things, right? She is the incarnation of Mother God, basically. And Mother Mary absolutely loves Archangel Lucifer, is trying to heal him, is trying to heal all of us, is here for us all, no matter what suffering we are going through. It's like calling Archangel Michael to help you. You can call Mother Mary to help you as well. And in that moment, I got this idea. And the idea was to wash Archangel Lucifer's foot. Because while he was this black hole with these bees, he was also a man that was in pain. And I just got this like biblical idea that if I could heal his wound, I would do it in this way. And I actually took an image of his foot and I put it in like a water, like a bowl of like very pure, loving water with like some salts and some herbs and all that. And I just started washing his foot like biblical. And then his foot broke off into the bowl because he wanted nothing to do with it because we resist the healing when we're in pain. And I was like, no, I'm cleaning, I'm washing this foot of yours and we're going to put it back and it's going to help you feel a lot better. And so I did it and I put it back and it did help him. And his light side came and thanked me. And it was so meaningful and it was so important. I knew I wanted to make a message. I knew I needed to share about this. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. And so I'm going to chill. And I want to see overall Archangel Lucifer, Archangel Michael, and Mother Mary, and God, humanity, the eighth sphere, the universe, the mirrored reflections, the pain, the healing, the division. In the midst of all of this, what is the most meaningful final words that I could share with everybody in this video today? It's interesting. Slowing things down. Not to get caught up in the wave, but to stand your ground and walk your own path. In order to walk your own path, you must know yourself. And how does one know themselves? Again, slowing down in order to catch up with you. Slowing down in order to catch up with you. It's inevitable that we're going to get caught up in waves. It's inevitable that we're going to go in different directions. And then we're going to reach a point where we need to reflect on everything we've learned, on everything we've done, on who we are after all of this. And that's part of the energies right now. Asking us to just get back in touch with who we are after everything we've been through. This is a collective thing. This isn't just for this message. This is a collective event. This is part of what I've been seeing in my own time with Archangel Michael is helping us, is actually protecting, you could say, protecting us from the sounds of our past. And all the sounds of our past that influence us to still feel like we are the person that we once were, still living in the present of all the things that we are caught up in the cycle of going around and around. Archangel Michael is protecting us from those sounds so that we can find out who we are in the present moment. We can acquire the sound of something new and start building with new energies. And that was something that I saw just in my day-to-day and client sessions as well, is what Archangel Michael is up to. Is helping to almost like shield us from the sounds of our past that we use, that we work with to decide who we are in the present moment. But we aren't the person of the past. We're some new person. The only way to know who that new person is to just let Archangel Michael shield those sounds, slow down, put your feet on the ground, get out of that wave, and get to know who you are today. We are building a brighter future. We are healing. We are figuring this out. And that is true. This word unity keeps coming to me. This word unity, I feel like, is this big movement that is louder than we know, and it's going to get more and more obvious. People coming together to help one another and become a loud voice of love and support and unity. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and for participating and learning with me and growing with me. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'm a little disoriented. That was a lot of information. I did it. I made the message as best I could. All right. If any of you are interested in exploring a session with me, I'd love to help you one-on-one. You can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. All right. Have a great day, everybody.